dignity, a partial fulfillment of the requirements for the award of a Master of Arts degree in philosophy. And we are here to defend. And the jury here present is made up of three personalities. On my right, you have your supervisor, Professor B. Jerutosam, the main supervisor. The other one is unavoidably absent. On my left, you have your HOD and at the same time, the examiner of this work. And my humble self, the mediator, okay, and the chair of this jury. So we are going to give you just 10 minutes to present to us your problem, the central arguments that hang on your problem, okay, the findings that arise, and what you are, the perspective that you stand to propose. Thank you. You are free to sit or to stand.
The president of the jury, honorable members of the jury, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the defense of Sofa de Bruno Lindway. I will be presenting a dissertation titled "A Critique of Kant's Conception of Human Dignity." Aim of the research. This research seeks to critically examine Kant's conception of human dignity and the extent to which it can be applied to solve violations of human dignity in the hospital settings and new developments in biomedical technology. Kant's conception of human dignity is found in his second formulation of the categorical imperative, which states that act so that you use humanity either in your own person or in the person of another, always at the same time as an end and never as a means. Autonomy of the Kantian principle of dignity has been one of the leading principles in biomedical ethics, in bioethics. This research argues that Kant's notion of human dignity is inadequate in resolving the violations of human dignity in the hospital settings. Kant's conception of human dignity, in application of Kant's conception of human dignity, patients are considered as self-determined beings and have the right to decide on how they need to be treated by medical practitioners. This research argues that Kant's conception of human dignity is inadequate in resolving violations of human dignity in the hospital settings. This is because it focuses strictly on rationality and autonomy, which cannot respond to emergency situations in case of vulnerable and incapacitated patients who must depend on others for their survival. The African relational conception of dignity provides a better approach to human dignity because dignity is tied to the role and the responsibility of the community and also the importance of relationship. Dignity is shaped by the community rather than the individual as an isolated rational agent. This research also critically examined the application of Kant's conception of human dignity in biomedical technology. Medical progress has empowered scientists with knowledge and power which permit them to penetrate into nature to screen and modify the human gene from the very beginning of life. The ability to directly manipulate the human genes raises concerns about overstepping the boundaries of human agencies and interfering with God's act of creation. Conceptual clarification. According to Kant, human dignity refers to the inherent and unconditional value possessed by every human being as a result of their autonomy and rationality, which distinguish them from other beings in the natural world and is above all price. Research problem. My research problem is to critically examine Kant's conception of human dignity. The Kantian notion of human dignity cannot adequately answer the question of human dignity due to its focus strictly on rationality and autonomy. Kant's conception of human dignity, which focuses on rationality and autonomy, cannot respond to situations in case of vulnerable people like children, the old people who cannot reason, and patients with mental disability. In biomedical technology, in the field of genetic engineering, particularly genetic enhancement, human beings are being used as a means to satisfy our personal desires. This is seen in the field. This is seen with science creating designers' babies or superhumans. Research questions. My main research question in this work is, what are the positive and negative impacts of the Kantian conception of human dignity in the hospital setting and some biomedical technology? Can Kant's conception of human dignity adequately address the dignity of vulnerable patients who are not rational or have lost the capacity for rationality? Why is the African relational conception of dignity better than the Kantian approach to dignity? Significance of the work. This work is significant to our contemporary society in that Kant's conception of human dignity will help us to value humanity above all price and to treat them with intrinsic worth and dignity. It also helps us to respect human autonomy, which is the key aspect of dignity, as well as to extend the dignity to the family, the society, and the community, as with the case with the African relational conception of dignity. Methodology. In this dissertation, I use the historical-analytical-critical method. With the historical method, I traces the various philosophers who influenced Kant's conception of human dignity. With the analytic method, I examine Kant's conception of human dignity and its application in the hospital setting. Lastly, I employ the critical method, which enables me to point out the value and the shortcomings of Kant's conception of human dignity, thereby blending it with the African relational approach. Research structure. This research is divided into 5 chapters. Chapter 1, examine the historical background to Kant's conception of human dignity. Chapter 2, discusses Kant's conception of human dignity. Chapter 3, focuses on the critics of Kant's conception of human dignity. This is done by exploring other philosophers' notion of human dignity after Kant. Chapter 4 looks at the application of the Kantian conception of human dignity in doctor-patient relationship and in the hospital settings and medical technology. Finally, Chapter 5, titled A Critique of the Kantian Approach to Human Dignity, evaluate the positive and negative aspects of the Kantian conception of human dignity in the hospital setting and new developments in biomedical technology. The President of the jury, honorable members of the jury, I know as a novice in the field of research, I know that an academic work of this weight can hardly be done without errors. I hereby submit my work to you for corrections and recommendations that will be able to improve on its content. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno, for